We are back live, ladies and gentlemen, and we're continuing taking your phone calls with Gary Franchi and, of course, the director of the film, William Lewis, Camp FEMA. Guys, shifting gears, they have all these different excuses to set up a police state. Shadowy men want to kill you overseas. We got to set up Homeland Security. Then we get the documents, Homeland Security set up for the American people, Brigade Homeland. You cover all that in Camp FEMA. Now they're saying, oh, yes, we want to forcibly inoculate you. They're admitting the first 10 million people are going to get a nasal spray of a live virus that spreads it. That's mainstream news. I mean, this is getting crazier and crazier and crazier by the minute.
Alex, you know, I just got an email here from one of your listeners, and he says that he was one of the early birds who pre-ordered Camp FEMA, considering that this kind of subject matter can be difficult to present in a way that can be digested by ordinary people. He thought that it would be another movie that could only show to a small percentage of his friends. But he says, after watching Camp FEMA, he says, I'd like to give you both the very highest acknowledgement for making a truly great film. Your presentation is methodical, easy to follow. The historical perspective is well-researched and extremely valuable in understanding how government has come to where it currently is. The facts are solid and irrefutable. I feel you have made a brilliant film. Talking with normal Americans about FEMA camps is a difficult thing. However, you've presented it in a way here that people will understand. Thank you so much. I hope to be going and getting more copies soon to show to friends.
Well, you know, that's what I made the Obama deception to do, is to shatter the left-right paradigm, to show people how both parties are controlled. And you do this in a matter of fact, like mainline television. Here's the history of FEMA. Here's Congress. Here's what they're doing. They admit the camps because they admit it out of one side of their mouth, but in a good light, and then deny it when we say we don't want camps. And so you really expose that. Continue.
Well, I will say it's not an easy topic to cover. William, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to point out that, you know, we break the film down into FEMA's three basic prime directives. Their directive number one is national emergency recovery, like tornadoes, floods, earthquakes. We go in and take a look at how they've done at those jobs in the past and give them a grade. And then we go in and look at their other directive, which is continuity of government, protecting the country from terrorism and nuclear attacks and things of that nature that they've been doing for 30-some-odd years now. How have they done on that? And then finally, Directive 3, which is a good portion of the documentary, this one is combating perceived threats to the existing social and political order. And, you know, we didn't just make that up. We didn't just pull that out of a hat. That phrase, the existing social and political order and the threat that they perceive to it, is listed throughout the documentation that we found in Senate Select Committee hearings, FBI documentation, and this mimics what we see in the Department of Homeland Security report and the MIAC reports. So this is nothing new. It's just laid out in a way where people can, for the first time, put those puzzle pieces together in a way that makes sense.
So what do we do about the FEMA camps? I mean, they're just building this whole infrastructure, turning our whole society into a prison. It's all admitted, but they're still in denial.
We have to resist at every corner. We have to resist at every corner, critical mass, spreading information. Alex, it's about waking up the people. That's the bottom line. You know, without an informed populace, you know, and without winning the court of public opinion, we're going to lose this battle. You know, I commend you, Alex, for the work you're doing, for the films you're putting out, for the message you're hitting home to people. You know, it's a collective effort across a spectrum of the movement, you know, to wake up the American people, to get us organized, to get us activated, and taking back this country. That's what we got to do.
Well, all I know is it's clear that we have a criminal establishment in control setting up a scientific dictatorship, and things are only going to get worse until people say no. You know, the biggest issue is the worship of police, the worship of surveillance in the media, as if these are the modern heroes, greater than Michael Jordan, greater than John Wayne. I mean, it's really sick. It's predatory. There's all these reports of police robbing people all over the country, don't even get in trouble. I know they're good police, but they're mainly used as the cover by the corrupt system itself to continue operating.
Well, you know, up in Canada, there was a friend of mine who uncovered a drug smuggling operation by the Ontario police named Scott Loper. You know, they threw him into a prison. They tortured him for 4 years and never provided him access to the embassy or the State Department. Violated international treaty. So, I mean, the corruption is worldwide, Alex, and you know this. It's sick.
Continue along that line.
Well, like, okay, you know, Scott was a police officer. He investigated criminal activities in New Jersey. Moved up to Canada, discovered this drug smuggling operation. His family was taken away from him, trumped up charges. His child was abducted. They still don't know where the kid is. And now he's fighting the State Department to get justice. The State Department's denying him. I mean, all the documents are there. Check it out at ScottLoperStory.com. It's a horrible thing. You know, and just one man trying to get justice, trying to expose corruption.
Well, when the history's written on all this, for better or worse, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. People are going to wish they'd done more. I mean, when they're openly announcing no free speech in America and they won't issue permits, first they say you got to have a permit that turns a right into a privilege. Then they start not issuing the permits, just like they did with gun permits in New York City. I mean, this is hardcore tyranny. This is communist China.
Well, it is, Alex, and it's up to the people, you know, to stand up to this tyranny. When I look at my children or my grandchildren in the future, I want to say that I fought for freedom, that I fought for America, that I fought so that they could be raised and live in a world, living in America where freedom is not a slogan, it's not a catchphrase, but it's an actual reality that we can embrace. And that's what I fight for every day, Alex. That's why we put out these films, magazines, websites, webinars, whatever it may be, to push the message forward, to organize the people. Because I'm not going to sit back and say, I did nothing. I'm going to fight for this country, Alex.
Let's take some calls here. Let's go ahead and take a call from Nelson in California. Nelson, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Alex? This is my third time calling. I'm from We Are Change LA. I was calling to in regards to a previous caller who was talking about the new Michael Moore movie. I actually went and saw it, and it was pretty bad, but really bad. But I made a spoof poster, and I sent it to you through your advertising link. I don't know if you got it, but I made a spoof where I changed Michael Moore into you heckling at him with your bullhorn. And the other thing I connected was that Michael Moore's talent agent is Rahm Emanuel's brother, Ari Emanuel. I don't know if you're aware of that. Were you?
Yes, but I mean, I'm not defending Michael Moore because he's anti-Second Amendment. He's saying corporate system, the capitalism did this. This is just corporate robbery that did this. His answer of communism is what the elites want. They take our wealth and give it to themselves. But he's one of the biggest agents in Hollywood. And so, yeah, you're going to have people like that involved. Yes, I have seen that in the news. And yes, he's got a whole agenda pushing government health care, seizing 20% of what's left of the market. Of course, the insurance companies are corrupt, too, because they've used government regulation to allow that corruption. Before government got involved 50 years ago, we were the apple of the world's eye. So we need less government, not more government. And you've got Rahm Emanuel's other brother is advising the White House on the death panels and openly gives speeches about, the case for getting rid of Granny. And so, yeah, it's pretty creepy. I appreciate your call. There's all these interconnections in this whole power structure, isn't there, Gary Franchi and Mr. Lewis?
Oh, without question. And, in the mainstream media, it's where it's so frightening. I just got a report that Camp FEMA was hand-delivered to Glenn Beck at a recent book signing. And there is a special segment on Glenn Beck, as you know, Alex, in the film. So we anticipate something coming out of Glenn Beck if he even decides to watch the film. But when the film was handed to him, he was told that the film was made in response to his message. So it should be interesting to see what the
You know what's sad about Glenn Beck You know, Muse are fans of the show. The lead singer, main songwriter is Mr. Bellamy's been on the show. And we've inspired their work. So we've inspired Megadeth and a lot of other groups.